Right, it's recording.
Okay, it's recording now.
Good evening, everyone! Welcome to the Castle Green Hotel here in Kendal. Hope you've enjoyed the meal. There's more food to come at 9 o'clock. There's a few years to wait until I give my daughter away as father of the bride. But today I'm here in the capacity as Johnny, Marilyn's son, as the son of the bride. And as I've mentioned about COVID-19, it has been a difficult few 18 months for us here. But to have the official wedding last year, it just seemed only right on many levels. But so sad to not have many friends and family last year. But it's great to have everyone around the tables here today. So thank you very much. And I hope you've enjoyed the day so far.
Yes.
Yep. Well, it's over 1 year late, but I'd like to welcome David into our family. So, welcome, David.
Thank you, Johnny.
A year's worth of handshakes. Welcome, David. Welcome, David. I was so tempted to do it longer. And if you know my mum, I think you'll agree that basically she's the happiest that she's been for many, many years. And that is down to meeting David. A genuine, honest, caring individual that puts others first before himself. Okay, that's enough of the compliments. Right, this is how they met. And it's been an interesting couple of weeks to gather this information. No, it wasn't Facebook. A good job, David, because you're not on Facebook and you've not seen the video that I posted this morning of you and my mum dancing in your house in Garstang.
No, I haven't.
But check it out if you're on Facebook. It wasn't the Gram or IG. It wasn't ChatSnap. It wasn't TikTok or Tinder. It was a website called Christian Connections. Are you on it?
No.
Phew. It was August 2019 when Mum sat Pamela and I down to say that she'd join this Christian dating website, Christian Connections. After a few emails from other men, it all started with a wave from Dave. And Mum virtually waved at David, and David answered. Well, I'll tell you the answer. See ya.
Oh
no! Because I've hacked into both of your accounts this week. No, I'm only joking. No, I'm not. Mum arranged to meet David Gray, 5091. Yeah, that's your handle. Yeah, it's 5091. And they went for a walk, and the rest is history. However, both of these accounts are still active, and I'd like to know why they're still active. Do you know, looking at both of your accounts, there's a few waves and a few winks there. David's really worried. I'm getting loads of emails at the minute. It was quite clear that it was more than just friendship from early doors. The first time we were invited around for a meal at David's, you could just see both of them showed off with their dancing, and you can see it on Facebook. But tonight we don't have a projector, but you can look on my Facebook and you can see the dance there, and you can give it marks out of 10. Today is not just about a celebration, but to publicly affirm their vows before God and for us as well as their witnesses. Today, we've celebrated with all that God has brought them together from very different backgrounds and interests, but a shared love for God and for each other now. The last few months have been really busy, both with buying a new house and organising a wedding, and lots of other things as well. Even washing down the new living room ceiling and walls, David, this week at his new house in Storth, 2 days before the wedding. David, some advice for you. Some advice as you move into your house at Storth. You're going to have to find a room for all the fabric that my mum's got for her quilting.
We had to find a house, not just a room.
Oh, and to recognise that mum sometimes, well, she'll say that she's praying during the afternoon when she's actually sleeping. Another thing, you might want to teach her some cooking skills, David, because when she babysat or childminded our two children, Caleb and Naomi remembers this very, very well, don't you? They had chutney on toast when it was supposed to be jam on toast. Mum has an extensive experience with an impeccable 35-year history and service with the NHS as a district nurse. So if anyone is not well tonight, come and see the bride and she'll Google it for you. No, seriously, David, you're going to be all right because you're going to be looked after, not in a nursing home, but my mother. Mum, you've done well not to lose David because you'll lose everything else, keys, phones. So we're going to actually buy you a couple of Apple tiles and tags to tag on each other so we know where you are all the time.
I know what tags are now.
So again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for joining us in this celebration, and we hope and pray that we make special memories together in the years to come with each other. Now, we're going to toast the bride and groom, but we're going to do it slightly different. We're going to do a Mexican toast to the bride and groom. So this table is going to start with us first. Special responsibility, Lorna. We're going to stand up and toast the bride and groom, to the bride and groom. Then the far table is going to stand up and toast the bride and groom. Then the top table, or the bottom table, is going to toast the bride and groom, and then this table with Andy on it, and then this table, and then the Martins and Denones and Jackie and Howard table, and then this table, and then the top table toast the bride and groom. Obviously, David and Marilyn are not going to stand up, okay? So I'll just give you demonstrations just so we're all on the same page. We stand up when it's our turn. It's a Mexican toast. So this table will stand up to the bride and groom, down, and the next table. Okay? And then the far bottom table and down. Is everyone crystal clear?
Yeah.
George, you remember this from my wedding when Daniel did it? Right. Go for it.
To the bride and groom. To the bride and groom.
Loudest table wins.
To the bride and groom. To the bride and groom. To the bride and groom. To the bride and groom.
To buy a calendar from Geos, they're £15 and I've got a box full of them in the back of my car tonight. Over to the groom, David Gray.
Thank you, Johnny, for such a witty, entertaining and incisive speech. And really did end with a bang.
David, you can sit down now, that's fine.
Yes, Johnny. Yes, Joshua. Go sit down with Mummy and Daddy. I was going to tell everyone a bit about our history together, when we met. The full story as opposed to the abbreviated version, Joshua. So sit down with Mummy and Daddy, and then we'll be fine. This day has been a couple of years in the coming. Marilyn and I first met in September 2019 at Catherine Mills Hall. We had been communicating online for some time before that, so it wasn't exactly a blind date. Incidentally, that Catherine didn't go the same way. However, our relationship really didn't happen. We've both been using an online internet dating agency. It wasn't quite as Johnny had said, because Marilyn had inadvertently forced the pace a bit, well in fact a lot. She pressed a button thinking she was compiling a short list of possible men that she could date. Instead, she pressed a button for favourites, And she didn't realise that she was actually sending me, or telling me that I was her favourite. That was quite funny. Anyway, when you go on an internet dating service, I don't know if any of you have done it or not, but you have to fill in something called a profile. It sort of tells you something about yourself. Sorry, can you not hear me very well at the back? Oh, right. Oh, you're standing up to appreciate it. Thank you. When you go on, you fill in a profile. I've already noticed Marilyn from the profiles, but she hadn't done hers very thoroughly. And I didn't have enough information to decide whether we wanted to go out with her or not. Anyway, receiving a message saying that I was her favourite certainly caused me to sit up and take notice. Not knowing, of course, that she sent it totally in error and not even realising she'd sent it. So I went back asking for more information and gently chided her for not filling in the thing properly in the first place. That didn't go down well. She thought I was being cheeky. Me? Cheeky? Goodness me. She decided she wouldn't reply. That would have been the end of that. Anyway, a friend of hers suggested that I too might not be quite sure what was happening or what I was doing, and she persuaded Marilyn to change her mind, and Marilyn did then provide some more information. Oh, then we nearly fell out as well over a misunderstanding, but I won't bother doing that.
Oh no, let's hear it, David!
So we did meet, and we found we got on well. There was some nervousness on both parts, especially on Marilyn's part, when she saw I had an old car. Most of you know my car's about 20 years old, and I get constantly told I should replace it and get a more modern one, but it still goes most of the time.
Where is it now then, this car?
Sorry?
Where's this car now? Broken down again?
No, it's in the car park here.
Broken down.
Ready to take us home tomorrow when we go home. Anyway, so bearing in mind that on the first date you want to try and make as favourable impression as you can, I knew arriving in an old car didn't quite give it the right message. I parked in the area of the car park, so a bit out of sight of Marilyn. What I didn't realise, well, that was an area you had to pay in. Marilyn was parked in the car park with his cafe, which was free. So when I sort of found out who, she said, well, where's your car? And I said, just park over there. Oh, bring it here, that's the pay part. So then I had to go and get it and put it back and go park beside hers, and Susie obviously saw an old car. So I thought she might she was still sitting in the passenger seat of her car, the driver's seat of her car. So she might just be, did not, but she didn't. Anyway, with these sort of setbacks and things, the first date was a success, and we then had an idyllic autumn, which was 2019, basically falling in love. However, even then there was a hitch. It could have been quite a big one. First time he ever came to Marilyn ever came to Garstang. Those of you who connected with Garstang Free Methodist Church remember, up 3 to 4 years ago, there was a programme to raise the profile of the church by distributing cards to every house and residential caravan in Garstang. The idea was that they would distribute them largely within the road we lived in, but somebody sitting in this room had already taken my road, I believe, so I took the caravan parks on the A6, I don't know if Locking went over this, Birmingham and Rydale, because some 15 years earlier, I had helped my son deliver leaflets around these caravan parks. I knew one way around them. You didn't have to keep your feet in, going down. You could work your way around without placing my steps too much. Anyway, I had a batch of cards to deliver in October 2019, and asked Marilyn if she would help me. It was being her first trip to Garstang. You may have thought I'd planned a romantic lunch or a romantic meal or sitting in watching the telly. Oh no, not for me. I had a job to do, traipsing around the caravan park, delivering leaflets. I was very surprised that Marilyn agreed to do it with me, but she did. So there we were, going around the caravan parks in just outside Garstang. And all was going very well until near the end, when suddenly I heard a harsh scream and a thud from a couple of caravans back. So I was a couple of caravans ahead of Marilyn. I thought, oh my goodness, what's happened? Or I could guess what happened. She'd slipped over. And I rushed back to where she was. Basically frightened to death of what I would find. Broken leg, broken arm, something even worse. Oh crumbs, this is it. Nothing's going to survive this. Anyway, fortunately she was all right. A lady from the caravan had come out to help pick her up, and I helped as well, obviously. And she was pretty shaken. I was even more shaken. And as I thought, selfishly, I have to confess, that would be it. She'd chuck me. She wouldn't take this at all. Anyway, in fact, it had the opposite effect. She was so touched by my concern that if anything, it helps see on the early stages of our relationship, which really quite surprised me. I didn't think we'd survive that. We got engaged in January 2020 and planned to marry in July 2020. Wedding plans were progressing well, but then unexpected happened. Many of you, Christians among you, certainly will know the expression in the Bible, which I abbreviate to man plans, God decides. It's actually Proverbs 16:9, in their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. God decided on the step which no one had foreseen. Coronavirus came along. The lockdown, separation between Marilyn and I for 7 long weeks, nightly Zoom calls for us lasting an hour, we really just wanted to be together. Extensions to the lockdown at 2-weekly intervals, and continuing restrictions on weddings. Happily, relief came along. Bubbles were introduced. And actually, there should have been some bubbles here today, but the bubble machine broke, or the factory went flat or something. So there aren't any bubbles, I'm afraid. That's going to be the sort of star piece. Never mind. So, of course, we were meant to still social distance, but after 7 weeks, we could at least see each other. And when the first time we did, for the first 3 meetings, we did manage to social distance. Didn't last very long. Anyway, we got married in July 2020, as many of you know, which was only about a fortnight after the date we had planned. Anyway, that's why we're all here now, to have the ceremonial part of our wedding, the part for you all to come and enjoy, and us to enjoy your company and having a handy day together. So once again, I'll add my thanks for joining us, so thank you all very much for coming. But now, I just want to say a few words of appreciation to Marilyn, my dear wife, sitting here on my left. You're many things to me, my dear. My best friend, my confidant, my love, my treasure, and of course my wife. Meeting you, falling in love with you, and marrying you have been absolutely wonderful. Thank you, my love, for being you and for loving me so much. Thank you. We acknowledge too the role that God has played in bringing us together and keeping us together, especially after the hesitant first steps I just referred to. We know we could not do anything without God, and pray for his continued blessing upon us. But moving on, and I'm pleased to know, drawing to a close, I want to thank all of you for being here, especially those who've come a long way, and to thank you and for making this day even more complete and special than it would otherwise have been. So thank you. But I want to give a special thanks to a few people. I hope I don't forget anybody in this little list. It's 5 people. Andrew, what do you call that? For being my best man. You move. Andrew for being my best man and for collecting these balloons this morning. Lorna for the lovely cake, and for which I'm sure it will taste as well as nice as it looks, but it's been taken away now, and I'm sure it will be very tasty. So thank you for all the hard work and the effort you put into that. The bridesmaids, Christine and Naomi, and just for being here, looking beautiful and helping Marilyn. Diana, where's she gone? For the flowers, for the balloons, for providing accommodations for some of my family, and all the other things that you've done sort of behind the scenes that were even helping with when the cook started failed to work yesterday and other emergency things. So thank you very much. And finally, of course, Johnny himself, not only for the photography, but also for helping us finding the wedding card, designing the invitations, the seating plan, the order service, and other printing, just being really helpful. So thank you very much, Johnny. Thank you. Now it's a tradition, I believe, of the bridegroom to say a toast to the bridesmaids. So I'm not going to do anything quite as exotic, but I'll do it very well of this Mexican toast. Maybe would you like to join me, please, in proposing a toast to Naomi and to Christine, wishing you both health, happiness, and joy, and for Jesus to shine through both of your lives. To Naomi and Christine.
Naomi and Christine.
Oh, there's more. Oh, it's Johnny. In closing, I'd like to introduce my best man, Andrew, who will be delivering the penultimate speech. After him, Christine, bridesmaid, maid of honour.
Maybe I started too soon. For those that don't know me, I'm Andrew, or Andy, or whatever you choose to call me. I'm David's son, and today I'm also his best man, or at least the best man he can get. Now, before I get started, may I ask Marilyn if you could place your hand on the table, and Dad or David, could you pass your hand above Marilyn's? Don't worry, everything will be revealed in due course. So, as many of you may know, today's ceremony very nearly didn't happen at all. I'm not talking about the problems we had with the suits, which just about fit, but not very well. I'm not talking about the cake that very didn't nearly make it here at all, or very nearly fell over on the route to the kitchen as well. I'm not even talking about COVID-19, lockdowns, and the global pandemic. I am, of course, talking about Dad's inability to do anything on time.
Made it, didn't I?
Well, now judging by that reaction, I know I'm not alone in feeling this way. And I'm not alone in having to wait around at least 15 minutes or so whenever I arrange anything to do with David and Marilyn. So it is perhaps fitting that we've had to wait 15 months for the wedding service after David and Marilyn actually got married. Fortunately, I am told, good things come to those who wait. Although that said, waiting around isn't something which these two did when they first met. Having met in, was it September 19?
September 2019, yes.
September 2019, they were engaged a mere 3 months later, with a view to get married as soon as possible in the summer. Now this caused some of us to be a little bit concerned about how well they really knew each other. Did Marilyn really know the kind of man she was marrying? Now, it's always been mentioned, but she would no doubt have seen the old car which he drives. But did she know that he has challenged himself to last 200,000 miles in that car? The current mileage is 190,000. And the last car he had even had a cider can as an exhaust. So, does she know that Dad is so frugal that he once found a bike lock and challenged himself to work out the combination by trial and error? Do you remember that, Dad?
Well, actually, I think it was when I was at about 16 at school, at grammar school.
No, you gave me the lock.
David, it was just last year.
Well,
when you grow up, Andrew, you learn to drive a car, you see. I'm sorry you're still driving a bike.
well, I believe it took you a few weeks to work out the combination, but it was some achievement when you did finally crack the code. I had to actually Google the probability of guessing the 4-digit combination, and it is 1 in 10,000. That's quite a statistic. So, as you can see here, we're dealing with a somewhat frugal, but somewhat eccentric individual. But despite his shortcomings, Marilyn would quickly have become aware of his strengths. His sense of humour, his inquisitive mind, and his kind and warming nature. Sorry, Dad, what else does that say? To help demonstrate some of these strengths, I asked my brother and sister for some things about Dad that they're grateful for. Rachel, my sister, is very grateful for your willingness to look after her child Joshua, where every other Tuesday you would drive down to Harpenden, a mere 400-mile round trip, on a task to become known as Joshua Duty. She is very grateful for your help there. Philip, my brother, said he very much enjoyed the trips he had with you to Riga and Hamburg, as well as your willingness and ability to fix things around the house when they break.
Which happens often.
Well, he went on to say he has been waiting for the kitchen light to be fixed for nearly 2 years. I would actually also echo my brother in saying how very grateful I am for your ability and willingness to fix things. Often it was my car, but also your willingness to take me on trips back and forth to university all those years ago. More recently, I'm very grateful for the various Lake District walks we've been on. That could be trips to Blencathra with a pint at the end, or our infamous night at Sutton United when they played Arsenal in the FA Cup final. Oh, FA Cup I should say. Wasn't quite the final.
Not right.
Now, I think when Marilyn first came on the scene, we were a little worried that those times would come to an end. Over the intervening year, we are pleased to see that we can still have and share happy memories with you. But moreover, we have been able to see the positive impact which Marilyn has had to you. You are undeniably happier now than when you were alone when Mum died. And for that, Marilyn, we are very grateful to you. At this point, I would also like to say a big thank you to those from Garstang Free Methodist Church for supporting Dad during a very difficult time, and a really heartfelt thank you to all those involved. We hope that you can stay connected now that Dad has moved away from Garstang. Now, at the start of my speech, I did ask Dad and Marilyn to hold hands above the table. I see they've stopped doing that. Holding hands is a sign of love and affection. But if you will, please could you stand up, just David and Marilyn, and look into each other's eyes, like you did earlier today.
Do you want Jack on as well?
No need. As you look into each other's eyes, I want you to think of all the happy times ahead, and the reasons you chose to get married. You are no doubt looking at the person who makes you laugh. You are no doubt looking at the person who will keep you company during the next lockdown. You are no doubt looking at the person who will look after you when you are ill, and the person who will make you meals, teas, and coffees. But I want you to think very carefully about this one. And as you look deeply into each other's eyes, now that you are married, statistically, you are looking at the person most likely to kill you. Ladies and gentlemen, big cheers to David and Marilyn. Now, I believe that's the end of the speeches. Oh, sorry.
I have to say something, I think.
Of course,
Not
it's Christine.
traditional, no.
Sorry.
Thank you, Andrew. Can we sit down again?
Yes.
I know it's not traditional for the bridesmaid to speak, but this is a special day for me. Marilyn has been a very close friend for over 45 years, and every day of our lives we've always been in touch with each other through thick and thin. Now, I know I've said this to a few people today, but you've got to stay friends, Marilyn, because I know too much about you. But I just wanted to say on this special day that God grant you all the blessings that you both deserve. Lots of love and joy and peace every day that you live. Marilyn, it's been a privilege to have travelled with you on life's journey. For over 40 years you've been my special friend. We've been together through joy and sorrows, difficult times and times of great challenges. God's love has brought us this far, and he will lead us on.
Speak up for Christine.
Sorry, you're not here.
I think best for Grace.
He began a good work in you, and he will complete it. Both of you, the love of the Lord your God is with you in all that you're in, and trust him in all your ways and acknowledge him in everything. David, we haven't known you very long, but we are so pleased to be part of your company, to have met you. I do believe God brought you and Marilyn together for such a time as this. You are a man of integrity, a passionate man in all that you do. We've sussed that out even in the just few times we've seen you. You've got a pure heart, David. And David, the Lord is saying, lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways trust the Lord and he will make your path straight. It's a privilege to be here today. I was really sad last year that we weren't allowed to travel, and I hope that we've got many more years of good friendship, but it won't be just with you, Marilyn, now. We think of David as being a close friend too. So I just want to say, let's just say all God's blessings on the bride and groom, and may you be blessed with many, many years to come.
Thank you, Christine.
that's the end of the speeches, and I believe there's going to be music and maybe dancing later. Do feel free to come up to the jukebox and just type in whatever song you want and do a search. There is going to be music regardless of if you search for things, but do put on your favourite tunes. There's a wide selection there, and do feel very free to come up and try it. If not, ask me and I can show you how to work it.
No one's allowed to put the hokey cokey on.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, we will do it. Yeah.
That was really good. I could do it.
No,
Good. All speeches are good.
yours is great.
Take it out.
We've got them turned on, we've got the footage.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Great.
That's looking outside now as well.
Great.
I'll give you 20 now, so I'll give you 5 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
And just come outside.
Yep.
And then I'll get some with you and your mum, and then David, that's his son, and then them two together underneath the little wall.
5 minutes to go outside for photographs. 5 minutes. Going outside for photographs. Okay, fine.
Going outside.